Hello everyone, I was born in North Korea and lived there for many years as an expat. Inside the Hermit Kingdom, power operates as an all-consuming force that dictates not just political rule but the most intimate aspects of human existence. Who lives, who suffers, and to whom each body belongs. While the world focuses on the regime's nuclear provocations and military parades, a far more disturbing reality festers beneath the surface. This is a meticulously engineered system of human exploitation, where loyalty is rewarded with carnal pleasures and obedience is purchased through institutionalized silence. Having witnessed this system firsthand, I can attest that what occurs behind the closed doors of Pyongyang's elite circles would never be broadcast on state television. Not because it's untrue, but because its revelation would expose the rotten core of the Kim dynasty's control mechanisms. The regime's exploitation takes many forms, but none more systematically dehumanizing than its treatment of women as instruments of state power. From the infamous pleasure squads to the Fifth Bureau's secretarial slavery, North Korea has perfected a hierarchy of sexual servitude that mirrors its political structure, absolute devotion at the top trickling down to desperate survival at the bottom. This calculated exploitation begins long before the women ever enter these systems. It starts with recruitment, a process that reveals just how methodical and deeply rooted the regime's control truly is. The girls destined for North Korea's pleasure squads never volunteer. They are chosen through a process as clinical as it is cruel. Recruitment begins in their mid-teens, sometimes earlier, when teams of selectors scour schools and neighborhoods across the country. The criteria are exacting: specific height requirements, flawless bodily proportions, and most disturbingly, adherence to a beauty standard directly tied to Kim Il-sung's personal preferences, a fact that reveals how deeply the founder's psyche still permeates the regime's operations decades after his death. For families, their daughter's selection is often framed as the highest honor, a chance to serve the nation's leadership directly. What they aren't told is that this honor marks the beginning of a life sentence. The moment these girls are taken, they vanish from ordinary society. No farewells are permitted, no contact maintained. Their old identities are effectively erased as they're transported to one of the regime's secretive training facilities, heavily guarded compounds located near elite resorts or within military bases, invisible to satellite imagery and ordinary citizens alike. What occurs within these facilities masquerades as education but constitutes psychological and physical breaking. Days begin before sunrise with brutal physical regimens, dance drills that continue until muscles fail, posture correction sessions involving hours of painful immobility, and endurance tests designed to eliminate any resistance. The girls study music, calligraphy, and chess, but these are not benign hobbies. Each skill serves a dual purpose: to impress elite audiences with cultured refinement while secretly functioning as foreplay for North Korea's power brokers. The darker curriculum includes covert instruction in contraception methods, despite the regime's public stance against birth control, techniques for pleasuring both men and women, reflecting the normalized bisexuality within elite circles, the art of suggestive movement, such as serving drinks naked while maintaining an illusion of modesty, and psychological conditioning designed to equate pain with patriotism. One defector's account describes mirror training, hours spent perfecting facial expressions that show just enough invitation without crossing into vulgarity. Another recalls being punished for natural modesty. They said my blushing was counter-revolutionary. I also had to learn to control even my blood flow. These accounts highlight the grotesque extremes of control imposed on women in North Korea's pleasure squads, not just over their bodies, but over their emotions, instincts, and even physiological responses. The expectation is not merely obedience but the performance of desire on command, turning the body into a propaganda tool and erasing the boundary between personal identity and state-imposed function. Upon completing their education, the girls are assigned as permanent attendants to the regime's upper echelons, not just Kim Jong-un, but Politburo members, military generals, and anyone whose loyalty requires reinforcing. Their existence devolves into a series of humiliating routines marked by constant control and exploitation. Weekly invasive medical examinations are conducted to ensure the women remain clean, free of sexually transmitted diseases, and available, meaning not pregnant. In a striking display of hypocrisy, while contraceptives are banned for the general population, members of the pleasure squads receive imported birth control. These women must remain on constant standby, ready to be summoned at a moment's notice, whether to a late-night party at a leader's villa or to entertain foreign dignitaries, where refusal is not an option. Some report being given stimulants to endure grueling service sessions that last for days. When Chinese or Russian business partners visit, selected girls receive additional training to accommodate foreign men, including language instruction and guidance on foreign sexual preferences. These encounters carry extra risk. If a girl becomes pregnant by a foreigner, it's not just a scandal, it's a political liability. In such cases, the regime acts swiftly and brutally. The woman typically disappears without explanation, often into the gulags of the prison camp system, erasing both the pregnancy and the threat of foreign entanglement. Her fate becomes yet another secret buried by the state's obsession with control and image. While the pleasure squads represent the regime's most infamous exploitation system, the Fifth Bureau operates under a veneer of legitimacy that makes it equally pernicious. Officially, this branch staffs female secretaries and assistants for senior officials. In reality, it's a slightly more dignified trafficking network. The selection criteria mirror the pleasure squads: beauty, virginity, and proven family loyalty, but with added emphasis on intelligence. These women aren't just bedmates. They're expected to manage sensitive documents while being sexually available. Some women are eventually elevated, or rather, repurposed, as gifted wives, transferred to political allies or influential figures like human bargaining chips. These arranged pairings are not acts of honor but calculated transactions, often used to solidify loyalty, seal backroom deals, or reward compliance within the elite ranks. Stripped of agency, these women become symbols of the regime's reach, their value reduced to their ability to please, bear children, and silently uphold the illusion of unity and privilege within North Korea's ruling class. For the state, it's not a marriage, it's an extension of power. As one defector employed by the Fifth Bureau recounted, "On my first day, they told me my primary duty was to maintain the revolutionary vigor of my supervisor. Filing came second. Contrary to outside assumptions, ordinary North Koreans are well aware of these systems. The signs are unmistakable. The sudden disappearance of beautiful classmates, the hushed warnings mothers give their daughters about attracting the attention of powerful officials, and the way state media elevates certain performers as artistic role models, while conspicuously avoiding any mention of their private lives. This collective awareness has given rise to a lexicon of coded language used to navigate these dangerous truths. Phrases like, "she went to the mountains," are understood to mean a girl was recruited into a pleasure unit. Special training is widely recognized as a euphemism for sexual servicing, while working with documents signals an assignment within the infamous Fifth Bureau. The silence isn't born from belief in the system's righteousness, but from terror. When a single careless word can condemn 3 generations to the camps, rumor becomes the only safe form of truth-telling. Among the elite, few figures embody the regime's depravity as starkly as Che Ryong-hae. His career has been marked by dramatic fluctuations, rising to powerful posts like head of the Youth League and Politburo Presidium member, only to be periodically exiled and then restored. These shifts highlight the volatile nature of even the most privileged lives under Kim rule, where loyalty is conditional and status is never secure. Yet it's not Ko's political trajectory that casts the longest shadow, but the persistent and disturbing rumors that swirl around him. The most persistent and grotesque allegations surrounding Cho centers on his personal pleasure squad. Rumors claim that he has young women's teeth removed to better accommodate specific oral sex fantasies, a detail so depraved it has come to symbolize the unchecked sadism embedded in North Korea's elite circles. While difficult to independently verify, this accusation has circulated widely among defectors and underground rumor networks, becoming emblematic of the regime's dehumanizing excesses. Whether literal or symbolic, the claim reflects the nightmarish extent to which women's bodies are mutilated and modified to serve the desires of powerful men. It is not just an indictment of one man's perversion, but of a system that enables such brutality to be both conceivable and concealed. Pyongyang isn't the only hub for this abuse. Provincial officials maintain their own miniature pleasure systems, though with less formal structure. Local beauties might be hired as masseuses or cultural instructors, only to find themselves servicing visiting officials. In the countryside, these transactions are even more blatant, stripped of the elite polish found in Pyongyang. Power is bartered openly, often in crude exchanges that leave no room for pretense. A county official may demand sex in return for approving a business license, while a security agent might coerce women into favors in exchange for looking the other way on so-called anti-socialist behavior, a catch-all accusation that can mean anything from watching foreign media to buying goods on the black market. In these rural areas, where oversight is minimal and desperation is high, women are especially vulnerable and exploitation becomes just another part of daily survival. The regime may maintain its veneer of ideological purity, but at ground level, power is wielded like a club, raw, transactional, and deeply corrupt. Even the military operates its own shadow system of exploitation, with defectors reporting the existence of comfort stations near major bases. These sites are staffed by women sentenced to so-called service duty, a euphemism for sexual slavery, often for minor infractions such as missing work quotas or speaking out of turn. Unlike the infamous comfort women of Imperial Japan, these women are not exploited by foreign occupiers, but by their own government and military, a haunting and deeply ironic case of self-colonization. Forced to serve North Korean soldiers under the banner of national duty, their suffering is erased from official narratives, buried beneath propaganda about discipline, loyalty, and sacrifice. It is a system that weaponizes patriotism to justify dehumanization. Perhaps the most nauseating aspect of the system is the active participation of foreigners, particularly Chinese businessmen and, on occasion, Westerners, who exploit their privileged status to partake in North Korea's hidden economy of abuse. In Pyongyang, some expats have openly admitted that one of the reasons they stay is the sexual access their foreign identity affords them. As one former European resident chillingly confessed, "You learn which hotels turn a blind eye when you bring girls." These encounters are not secret betrayals but often tacitly approved exchanges, framed by officials as tools of diplomacy or influence. In such cases, the women are not just victims of a totalitarian regime, they are collateral in transactional relationships with foreign opportunists who choose to look away, or worse, willingly participate in the abuse for their own gratification. The regime actively encourages these encounters when beneficial, using honey traps to compromise foreigners or reward cooperation. One notorious case involved a Swiss businessman given a personal assistant who later blackmailed him over secretly recorded encounters. For the few who defect, freedom doesn't erase the trauma. One former Pleasure Squad member now in Seoul described her inability to be touched without panic. "When my therapist hugs me, I still calculate what she wants from me." Others struggle with substance abuse, eating disorders, and suicidal ideation. The tragedy compounds when considering most victims never escape. Those who age out of service are typically reassigned as trainers or married off to mid-level officials, perpetuating the cycle. Some are believed to end up in the political prison camps, their knowledge of elite debauchery making them liabilities. Beneath the spectacle of missiles and marches lies North Korea's dirty secret, a regime so morally bankrupt it must commodify its own people to sustain itself. Yet this very system contains the seeds of its potential undoing. As information seeps in through smuggled media, younger generations are learning that elsewhere, women aren't state property. The underground economy, another unintended consequence of regime failure, gives some women alternatives to sexual exploitation. When the Kim dynasty finally falls, historians may pinpoint its true weakness not in sanctions or military pressure, but in having built a kingdom where half the population lives in silent, seething resistance, waiting for their chance to speak. And when that day comes, no amount of Viagra imports will maintain the regime's potency. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment down below. I will be sharing more shocking videos about the real life inside the Hermit Kingdom.